Hello everyone. So it is finally the last part of my trip to Hong Kong. It's come to an end and it's been such a beautiful experience. Something very upsetting happened in Hong Kong. We went out one night and then when we got to Lan Kwai Fong, which is like a popular street with a cluster of bars and everything, I was denied entry at three different pubs, and I was dressed so well. Like I usually dress nicely, like I'm always elegant and well put together. And the people were just extremely racist, and I don't like talking about such topics. But this one was just like so disgusting. The staff that work at these different pubs just told me you can't sit outside, you have to sit inside where you are hidden, and you can't have this table by yourself. When I'm traveling, I need my freedom. If I want to leave like a group of people, I'll do that and I'll just go exploring on my own. And I love my night walk as well, so it's like a safe place to be walking at night. So I just wanted to explore and just chill. So when I asked for the table, the waitress that works there was just like, sorry, we can't have you sit here alone. The cops are gonna come and you're gonna put our bar in trouble. And it was just an all white type of setup. And when I sat there, I could just feel the eyes glaring, towards my table. Because the first place, they sat me down and then they like, are you alone? And I'm like, my friends are somewhere else. They were at this amazing place that serves strawberry daiquiris in the chocolate coated glass that you have to lick. So that's literally where my friends were. They were still enjoying that. And I just didn't feel like being there anymore. So I left. I was like, okay, let me explore, because we did say we were gonna bar hop. They're like, okay, your friends have to hurry up because we can't have you sit here alone and our bar will get in trouble. And the girl had the most stinkiest attitude towards me, like I was smelly. When racist people look at you like you dirty trash, you can't sit here. And that's literally the stare that she gave me. So at this point, I'm still inquisitive, and I didn't realize what was going on because she kept whispering to the other people, like blah 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 blah. You can't sit here. And then I finally asked. I'm like, you could tell me nicely. And she starts a new story. She's like, we're not serving alcohol. And I point towards the other Caucasian tables. And by the way, this is not a Caucasian person at the door. And the people, what are they called? I'm going to call them hype men for the club. They stand outside like a typical host or hostess, and they lure you into the club. So I just followed the music. I went where I could hear hip hop. And they were just very nice and welcoming, those African bouncers. This girl was just so adamant about my friends getting here. I'm like, lady, I just want to drink my bubbles in peace. So it doesn't matter. Why does it matter? Why do I need to leave when I'm about to order a bottle all by myself? I can sustain a table by myself. So I don't need to be pushed, or you don't have to like worry about you losing anything from this table. And you have people sitting here having beers, I'm about to order champagne, that's what I want to have, and sparkling water. She's like, no, we're not serving alcohol. And I was like, okay, you're so rude, first of all, so I'll just walk out and go somewhere else. Oh, that's when I heard her speak to this man, this black bouncer. She says prostitute, no prostitutes. And I was like, do I look like a prostitute to you? And I was so upset at this point, and when I'm upset like to that level, I just want to cry. So my voice was just shaky and I just couldn't believe what was happening. So I asked the bouncers, I'm like, do I look like a prostitute, any of you guys? Because you guys are black and you understand how this game works. Do I look like one? And the guy looked at me straight in my eyes. The guy's like, no, you don't, my sister, And I walk out because I'm like, I will not lose my dignity like this. And I'm like, you serving tables. Everyone here has a drink. So what does that even mean? So let me go elsewhere. I walk to the second place. They had just seen what happened. And as I step in by the door, this waitress, she's Asian. The waitresses are Asian people, so they could be Hong Kong locals, they could be from the Philippines. There's just a cluster of people in Hong Kong, so you never know what you're dealing with exactly, but it's Asian features. And this girl just says, "Oh, excuse me, no prostitutes." And I can't explain how shattered my heart was at this point, because it was just blatant and disgusting, dehumanizing racism. And I haven't felt like that since I left South Africa. Literally, the last time I was so aware of my existence and that dirt, being looked at as lower than dirt. That was only in South Africa. Like the rest of the racism in China has just been mild. It's just been pure ignorance. And when you start talking to the people, they actually open up and they're willing to compromise their views, their skewed views of the whole world. So when they speak to you and they understand that you speak Chinese, that's when they start asking the right questions, and that's the best way that we could even get to a solution of the entire racism thing. So cool. I just lose my dignity at this point. And mind you, Lan Kwai Fong is shit packed. So I had eyes glaring from the first pub. I have these Caucasians looking at me like I'm selling my body. And they're watching this, and they all have secured tables, and it's like, oh, she's getting kicked out. She must be a thought, a freaking hoe. A Jezebel. Like, that's what I was reduced to. A Jezebel. And I'm like, did you even look at me? Did you profile me? Did you do you even evaluate black people's class in Hong Kong? Or you just look at the skin color, it's a female, therefore it's a prostitute. It's a male black person, therefore it's a drug dealer. Like, how can you be this disgusting? Like, the people of Hong Kong, I need this video to just to go viral, because you need to be so mindful of this when you get to Hong Kong. As a black female solo traveler, this is the most disgusted I've ever felt, and this is why I'm picking up this camera and talking about it, because no one is saying anything about it. Everyone is gonna go to Hong Kong and say, oh, we had a lovely trip, and no one is gonna mention this part, because we don't want to sound like we're too angry and it's a broken record already. And I'm the least vocal person about this issue, because it's gotten to a point of proper exhaustion. Now think of it growing up in a place like South Africa, where you are constantly aware of it all your life. Like, the segregation is so obvious, brushed under the carpet. Just don't even go far. Let's look at the nightlife alone, because of the segregation between fun amongst people, like the general places. So growing up under such has exhausted me to a level of, I don't want to speak about it, but I have to speak about the specific one, because I know there's so many black people now that are changing the game completely. They are starting to travel, starting to explore around the world. And so you need to be aware of such, like, you need to be mindful of such. And this is the most popular street. Like, if you are doing Hong Kong, you're gonna end up at the street, at some point in time. I get to the third place and my heart is pumping. And in Lan Kwai Fong, people just sit outside along on two sides of the streets. So now imagine this black Jezebel that is having the dirtiest look towards her. Like, she came here to sell her body, her temple of God. She came to sell it, and she's getting kicked out. And there she comes. Block that black ghost. like just block it before it even walks into our establishment. I like there are no words. There are no words to describe this walk of shame that I had to take down that street. Like I cannot. I was in disbelief. Like I'm still out of words. I cannot explain to you how dehumanizing that feels. Like, no disrespect to you if you have to sell your body, but think of it that way. If you don't have to sell your body and someone accuses you of that without even asking you what you do for a living, just think of it. If you're watching this video, you're a nice little woman, you're wearing a tight dress because you feel like wearing a tight dress, and someone blocks you off and says no prostitutes here. How would you feel? How disgusting is that? And you look your best, Okay, cool. I get to the third place, same story. And these hosts and hostesses that stand outside are so friendly. Those black people, black people. There's even a sign of recognition when you recognize a black person while you're traveling. There's this sudden smile that you just give off. It's like, I see you, brother. I recognize you. Hey, So I had the same thing, the same sign of recognition for these people, and we did that for a brief 2 seconds, and it was like, and the vibe, the music was popping. Those are the three most packed places in Lan Kwai Fong. Those first three ones at the top of that street. I don't know what street it was, but yeah, I'll look for the three names. And then I get to number 3. Sorry, no. They're like, are you alone? I'm like, my friends are still at Feather Ball. This was the place where my friends were. I need this table. I don't know when they'll get here. Sorry, we're not serving alcohol. At this point, like, I wanted to cry. Like, my heart was shattered. The last girl that I spoke to, the last waitress, was like so mean, like so damn mean. We exchanged words, and I'm just like, do you even understand who I am? Have you taken a moment to try to reason? So I pulled out my Chinese bank card, and I'm like, how can I be here selling ass when I'm from China? I just came here to travel. So tell me, at what point in my life can I do such a thing when I'm living in China full time? Like, how is that possible? Do you understand China and the entire system of China and how it works? It's not your usual, regular thing. Democratic government. How can I do that here? And then she's like, no. I'm like, what have black people done in Hong Kong for you to assume the same fate for myself? Like, you're trying to tell me the entire country has not seen normal black people. And then she's like, sorry, but black people cause lot of problem before. Black people cause lot of problem before. I'm like, am I black people? Like, you've gotten to a point of cutting out every single black person. Like, they were saying this, and on this specific street, another upsetting thing is that they have black men outside as bouncers. So those are the security guards, like with the Buffy type of black guys, and I think they're African. I could hear from their accents. That's what they have outside the door. At this point, I was too angry, and my voice was just like all over the place. So I'm like, I need to walk away before I cry in front of this woman. When I'm in tears, I'm probably like on top of you and I'm strangling you. So I've never reached that point, and I was that close to it. So I was like, you know what? Let me just walk away, because the last thing I want is a criminal offense here. And people will take out the ugliest side out of you, and you are like the nicest person that okay, cool. I walk away from this, and this time 3 clubs. Can you imagine eyes that are like back to your table, and they just watching this? It's like a circus. I'm like an animal in a circus. That's how I felt like. I'm just like these spectators from every single angle that you can think of, glaring, and not a single one of them could do anything about it or even try. Like, if I witnessed such disgusting behavior, I think as a person or as a human being, I would walk up to these people and ask. I had a table right next to me, and those 2 people, and I was pointing at their drinks like, you just gave them drinks, why can't I have the same? They never said a word. They just acted like, oh, we can't see this prostitute, we just cannot see her. Like, oh, not my problem, not my problem. I have a drink, so yeah, get out, ho, get out, so as I walk past, because I'm like, okay, I need to go as far away from this street as possible, but I need to walk down the whole street now and just at least go the furthest away to a place where no people saw what was just happening, because now at this point every next club is gonna deny me access. Okay, cool. I do that, and I walk. As I'm walking from the third pub, this woman shouts. She grabs me by my arm, and she's like, "Come here, sit here. You sit here." And that felt like a hug. She sit here. She grabs. She runs. She ran because she could see like I am so shattered. And that was like an angel in a sense. She felt like an angel. And then she rushes, she cleans my table, she brings a menu. She's like, sit here, you can sit here. And then, oh my God. So I sat there. And then she asked like, what are you gonna order? And I just told her my order, and she could see like my seat was uncomfortable at this point, and it was facing, my back was facing, like I couldn't face the people, the same pubs that chucked me out. So I had my back towards those pubs, and it was good. Like I just gathered myself for a while, and I sat, and I needed a drink, and that was perfect. And this girl, she caters for me. She gives me my champagne, and she gives me the sparkling water that I was looking for. And then after a minute, she's like, hey, you can sit over there. So she was like, you can sit and face, then you can see the street properly, because she knows the best table at her restaurant, So you can move here, I can move you here, so you can see everything and have a nice night. She does that, and she moves everything to the other side. That's when I was just like, you know what, Lele, this can't define you. That's why I even refused to go back to the resort, because I'm like, this is gonna ruin my trip if I don't sit here and start dealing with it in some other way. I would be mad the whole time. It's like returning to the hotel to cry. So I had to just tough it up in the street and be okay. Okay, cool. I sit, she changes tables, and the minute she changes tables, the manager also comes through, and I asked him, because I started reasoning with the guy. I'm like, what have people done that is so bad? And he was like, no, some people are very bad people. Like, some people are just bad people, and I'm so sorry that they did that to you. I'm like, they've just told me that I'm a prostitute, and I've never even imagined doing such in my life. And it's like, do you understand how offensive that is? And he's like, I know. And and then I showed him the card, and I'm like, they denied me with a Chinese card. Like, do you understand how strict that place is? how controlled that place is. And it's like you don't even know research about your own. Like, that's the last place to be selling crack, you know? It's like me going to Saudi Arabia for such. No. Like, no. Anyways, it still happens though. People will break the law at every single place, even in the most dangerous place on earth. People will still break the law in that sense, you know? Because that's an industry that's in demand, it's in high demand. So I finally sit down, and this man, out of nowhere, they were playing this white people music, if I may say that. It's just music I don't enjoy, like rave, which is like, no, what must I do with that music? So they were playing that music. Suddenly, the guy just changes the playlist and he plays me Miss Jackson, different old time classic black songs. And I just started jamming all by myself. And I was just like, you know what, Lele, you came here to travel alone, and this is what you get. Like, you make the best of the situation. Don't let it define you. Don't let it make you chill in one resort for the rest of your trip. Just enjoy it. All you have is this one last night in Hong Kong, and I had the time of my life. Jackson, I am for real. Never make to make your daughter cry. Not violent, that's what you require. Service Jackson, I am for real. Never make to make your daughter cry. Hey. So go to my Instagram and read the whole story. Check out my Instagram story. My Instagram is Lele Mkhize, and that story I've highlighted it in travel because it's important for you if you're going to travel to Hong Kong. If you're a black female that is doing great things and you're an independent person, please go check it out. So I actually realized this wasn't the first racist incident that I came across. The very first one happened when we were sitting here. I left my friends, and this is Feather Ball. So I left my friends and I went to the nearest 7-Eleven. So I wanted to get myself some Red Bull because just to get the energy to start bar hopping, because that was the next street that we were going to go to, that Lan Kwai Fong street. So as I'm buying my gum, this white guy asked me, "Are you from Zambia?" Then I told him, "No, I'm from South Africa." Then he says, "Can I see you later on? I'll just need an hour." And I looked at him like, what do you actually mean? Like, this was the first time that I had spoken to anyone that's from Hong Kong besides my friends, you know? So I'm just thinking, okay, we're having a normal conversation, but what do you mean? And then he's like, "Oh, so you actually need more than 1 hour." And I'm like, what is wrong with you? That would mean I'm actually a prostitute. Then he tells me, "Oh, I used to live in South Africa, blah, blah, blah. And so can we meet later on?" And I'm like, no, no. So I walked away from that and I just got my Red Bull and my gum. So come to think of it, I guess I looked like I'm ready to go on my job. Do prostitutes need Red Bull before they go ham? But yeah, that was just like freaking an offensive night. Moral of the story is, people of Hong Kong, you need to do better. And I can smell the colonization in Hong Kong. Like, you can actually slice it with a knife. It's disgusting. And you need to open your eyes to another black world that's out there. Like, there's more to life than just black people being prostitutes and drug dealers. Like, there's successful black people in the world. And I know the idea is uncomfortable, but we are here and you can't do anything. You can't stop us now. I'm about to lick my glass because this place is about licking a glass and it's known for that. And it's not every day that you get to lick a glass. So when you do, and thank you so much for watching. And if you are as disgusted by such, I'm tired of keeping quiet about this, because even at 5-star hotels, we have people, you have eyes glaring, questioning why you would be at this place. It's like, where's your white enabler that's taking you here? Where's all this coming from? So yeah, thank you so much, and bye. Mwah.
Sir, Miss Jackson, I am